all that stuff. Yeah, yeah, of course. Did you try Skyward Sword yet?
Sadly, I don't even own Skyward Sword yet.
Oh, oh,
I at the time I was like I didn't hate Twilight Princess, but I was just like this didn't really impress me. Like I enjoyed it, but it didn't like the wolf thing wasn't like that big of a difference. I mean, you just
oh, yeah.
banging the controller still. It's like it has this
I
really.
actually hated to be a wolf. Being the wolf kind of sucked, but yeah.
I mean, it was okay, and I liked the more realistic graphic kind of look for once of that, but
Yeah,
I mean, it didn't like ooh 2 hook shots. Wee.
yeah, yeah. That's. Oh yeah. That was kind of funny. That's the general consensus, though. Yeah, not a lot of people like Twilight Princess. I thought it was pretty good. Yeah, but I guess it didn't really do anything too different.
Yeah, that's why I'm saying like to me, Majora's Mask was
It's
the last thing that shook up the formula, and the West just kind of stuck to the traditional formula.
yeah, like it's Majora's Mask. I know, like Twilight Princess. Like you can tell, like it was really. I think like Peanut Butter Gamer said this or something. But Twilight Princess was like really trying to be like dark and edgy,
Yeah.
but Majora's Mask did it like effortlessly.
Yeah.
Really, it's the darkest Zelda game.
Especially if you go into a lot of the weird theories about it.
Oh yeah, the depression theory. Yeah, all
Question,
that
he's
stuff.
dead, he's in hell,
Yeah,
he's
yeah, okay. I don't know
like
if
you
I buy
got
all of
so many weird theories about that. But
Why not? Yeah, I love that kind of stuff.
but one of the other reasons, like originally I was planning on getting it, but then I started hearing a lot of harsh criticism from it. Like,
Mhm.
and even now, a lot of people like I don't usually like referencing Eagle Raptor too much for gaming
Oh
stuff,
yeah, Eagle
but
Raptor. Yeah,
but
yeah,
he
I saw
Eagle
that.
Raptor did that video with Link to the Past and Skyward Sword, and like I mean, Eagle
Oh yeah.
Raptor beats that thing down with a fucking
Yeah,
two
it's
by
like
four any chance he gets.
so brutal.
So I
Yeah, I don't
mean,
know. The bomb bowling.
I
I
think that was
remember
the only
that.
thing he ever said was interesting in it.
Yeah,
But
you know what? I like Skyward Sword. I don't care. I
oh
think
no,
it's pretty
there's no problem there. I mean, there's stuff I like that everyone hates, like virtually almost nobody ever really talks about called just Shadow King. Graphically, it looks horrible. Sony fucked up the
Oh yeah.
difficulty curve for the US version, so it's skewed difficulty, massive grinding because of it.
I really gotta. I'm looking at it right now. It's on my shelf. I gotta play that game.
Oh, dude, I'm surprised you never even done an episode
I
for that.
know.
I
I
should.
know. It's gonna be a remote RPG. I know console RPGs are a little harder to like get my hands on because like I need more time to sit down and play it. But that one's definitely on the docket for
Oh,
sure.
I really liked it, that game, and like it has lots of flaws and stuff, but it's one of those experiences like you know one of the simple ways is you know it's so bad it's good kind of thing, but
Oh yeah.
to me like games that usually fit that kind of label where they're so bad they're so good. To me, a lot of the games people label that way, I feel like there was heart put into this. Like, yeah, there were flaws, but, you know, unlike Ubisoft and Assassin's Creed Unity, the person actually cared about, like, expressing this here and doing that and making the world
Yeah, like
interesting instead of making 5 million generic assassins again.
yeah. Like you can feel some like passion, like some like creativity behind it. I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Actually, speaking of games that you might like and everyone else hates, here's an interesting one, and I'm thinking about doing a video on this soon, so I won't say too much. But how about Final Fantasy VIII?
You know, when I was a kid back then, I hated 8 with so much extreme passion that I think over the years I appreciated it.
Yeah,
Like, I hated it when I was young, and I slightly appreciate it as an adult.
yeah. Okay,
But
okay.
But I
I can
still
accept
think
that.
it is a weak Final Fantasy, mainly because I'm a very magic user type person. The magic system,
Oh,
no matter
yeah.
what the hell quit? You want to give it?
draw,
It
baby.
yeah, the magic system's just awful. If you
It
like
was
magic, it's
terrible.
awful. It's,
So bad. I know. I honestly I don't know what they were thinking. I have no idea
like,
what
hey,
this
let's
should have
turn
been.
magic into a like completely item inventory like system now.
It's like you get it's like and like if you want to like junction it to like your stats, it's like every time you use magic, it's like you're just shooting yourself in the foot. So it's like
Now, the junctioning system's interesting, but I
I
think
thought it
it
was
would.
cool.
I
Yeah.
thought it would have worked, Bill, if you
If
could have a Keldor with multiple stacks of a spell. That way, you could donate whatever the max 99, 100, whatever the max was
99, yep,
to
I
a
think so.
stat, and then you could still have a stack of it for
Mhm.
usage. But if I remember correctly, you can only have one stack per Keldor.
Yeah, yeah, that's right. If I remember correctly too, I believe so. Yeah, that's right.
I mean,
Yeah.
there was some interesting ideas in it, and I mean, really, I like one of the Let's Players I really like watching, HC Bailey.
Oh yeah, yeah,
Um,
that's right.
I watched his Final Fantasy VIII Let's Play of it a long time ago, and you know, I I've actually been slightly curious to even replay the game as a Let's Play to kind of really see if maybe it just wasn't as bad. Maybe we were just all young and really just hated the really
I
radical change of it. Maybe.
Do you know what I think? Then a lot of people like give it flack for the story too, the story and characters. I don't know how like familiar you are with them.
Well, you know what's funny is that like before I watched AC Bailey's Let's Play a long time ago, I always considered Final Fantasy VIII this depressing emo thing, and then really it's like rewatching it all, man, it's like, you know what? There's a lot of goofy, silly shit in
There is
this
a
game
lot,
that I don't really
like
remember.
like not as much as nine, but like in eight, yes, for sure. Like I can think of some of the characters like I think his name's Zell, like the
Yeah,
fighter guy.
chicken
Especially
wuss.
at the end, I won't spoil anything, but like there's one like particular scene. But yeah, for sure, yeah. Not really. I think it's just Squall.
I mean, even Squall wasn't even as depressingly
No,
emo
no,
as I remember, to be honest. I mean,
not as bad as people play him up to be. Yeah, exactly.
I
Especially
mean, it
considering,
certainly starts out like that at the
of
beginning of the
course,
game,
yeah,
but it's like there is this evolution where he lines up, kind of
yeah,
gets with the group, and that.
yeah.
I'm like, you know, I really don't remember it being like that as much. I
No,
just really
no,
remember like emo.
not like okay at the beginning, yeah, of course, yeah, but like after the first disc, like he's a lot better. He's like, it's because it's part of like his character arc, obviously. Yeah,
Yeah, his evolution of his character, and
yeah,
I think maybe that has something to do with when we were a lot younger. You know, we didn't probably
yeah.
focus as much on character personalities as much.
Just like yeah, usually like initial impressions.
Especially when it's dealing with more mature, serious topics and less on silly, goofy shit like you spoony bod.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh god.
So maybe, you know, as a younger mind, it's like, it's just adults talking about the girlfriends and shit.
Yeah. Ew,
Boring.
girls, cooties. Ew.
Like, I can't relate. Fucking.
Yeah. Okay, but okay, I'm gonna make a confession here, and this is why you can't tell anybody my address because I will come get flamed. My house will get burned down. Okay, I fully completed Final Fantasy VIII, but I have never finished or gotten more than 10 hours into Final Fantasy VI.
Oh, really? That is a bit of a shame.
That
Six is
is,
a point.
yeah,
Six has a really interesting structure with its cast.
yeah, yeah, I know. I don't understand what it is about Final Fantasy VI. I must have restarted that game at least 5 times, and I never get that far in.
Really? How far have you gone?
I think I get to where do I get to? Past the Phantom Train and stuff. Past when you get I think it's Cyan. Where exactly do I get to? I
Bam Train's one of the most hilarious bosses, FYI. Suplex!
oh, oh yeah, I do remember that. That was very good. That was weird. Okay, yes, I do remember. I think when you get the the crazy like wild child thing. It's like
Oh,
Velvet.
I think
Vel
it's like GUA. I think is how his name's spelled.
or something. Yeah,
I
something
I
like
have
that.
no idea how to
When
pronounce it
you
though.
when you get to that area, I remember somebody falling off a waterfall or something.
Oh,
Something
sounds
vaguely
like you got to just the beginning of the Wound World where Kefka takes over. Which
something like
sounds like
yeah, that might
because
be it.
the blonde hair girl jumps off a cliff near the end of the normal world, and that starts off the world of Ruin section of the game.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. Yeah, I think that might be it. And like your party kind of splits off, right?
Yeah, everyone gets lost, and she becomes the
Yes.
kind of leading character for the second half of the game as you recollect everyone.
Everybody. Yes. Okay. Man, you know what? I should really, because everyone's like, oh, it's everyone. Actually, people call that the best RPG of all time, and I don't know if I would say
Yeah,
that.
a lot of people, especially when you're talking about the older Final Fantasies, yeah, a lot of people usually count 6 as one of the best out of the 2D before
Of the
3D
2D,
stuff and
okay.
that. And personally, and I know in America this is kind of considered batshit crazy, but
Mhm.
no, I really think Final Fantasy V is one of the really best ones.
Yeah, really. Yeah.
You
You know
got,
what?
and a lot of people, the first thing a lot of people always want to bring up is like, but Atticus, there's so many bosses you can one hit kill in the game.
So.
It's like, how did you count how many bosses there are in the game? My God, there's so many fucking bosses at every
There are a
turn.
lot, yeah.
Side quests, side bosses, side summons, go-go's in it. My
Oh, it's
God,
crazy.
I think it kind of balances out.
Yeah, yeah, Final Fantasy, but I like that game a lot too. I think that one I did beat. On the DS, I beat that too. I think
And
on the port it
I
had.
think you mean the GBA.
No, I think it was on. No, I think it was on the DS too. I
The
think they
DS
even.
had the DS had Final Fantasy 3. There was a GBA version of Final Fantasy
There
5.
was a GBA version of Final Fantasy V. I swear. No, no, no. I think there was something of Final Fantasy V on the on the DS. It's like a whole 3D game.
Well, there's Final Fantasy 4 also on it.
Oh, sorry, four. Oh my gosh.
And
I'm
4
sorry.
4 was the
Oh
first
god.
Final Fantasy I ever played, and it definitely always holds a special spot.
Sorry. No, I was
That's
still thinking
fine.
of
That's
four.
fine.
Yeah. Five
5
was
only
with.
came to America on the PS1 and on the GBA. We never got its
Oh,
original Super
okay, yeah,
Nintendo.
yeah. So who's the protagonist of five again?
5 is the horribly mistranslated bots, which a lot of people like to
Oh
call
yes.
butts.
Oh god, yes. I remember. Okay, I remember from. I did play Dissidia, Final Fantasy.
Yeah.
Or that's how I know all the protagonists. Okay, so he's the guy who wears red. He has the funny outfit. Actually, that's every Final Fantasy character.
I'm not sure what he wears in that. I do have the first one of that. I haven't really played it too much. I played a little bit, and then I hadn't really got around to playing it some more because I got too busy playing the sequel to the 3DS music game.
Oh, Final Fantasy. Yeah, that one. I still gotta play that one too. That
Oh,
was-
it's like, best idea. Hey, you know that Ordon series on the original DS? Let's whip that off, add RPG elements, and have all the music everyone loves in it.
Yep.
It's like, it'll sell like printing money.
Genius. Genius. Yeah, I still gotta play that game. But yeah, so you'd recommend five because I haven't heard too much about it to be honest.
Well, the thing is, I think one thing, the reason it gets forgotten a lot is because obviously nobody got to play it back in the old day unless you were importing. And importing back in the 16-bit era was a very rare thing for a lot of people in
Yeah,
America.
yeah, for sure.
But I really do like 5. Graphically, yeah, it's not as impressive as 6. It's actually not even as impressive as 4. Well, I don't think it ever got conformed, but the graphic style really reminds me of Live a Live. I really feel like it might have shared similar assets in its graphical department because
Really?
the size of the sprites and everything are like the same size in Live a Live. So I feel like it might have shared similar little development time with it, maybe.
Yeah, hey, really interesting. I didn't know that. Yeah, I think Live Live was a really colorful game. I like the graphics in it. So if it's
But
similar to that, I'll be okay with that.
it has really good music, shitloads of side content you don't even have to touch, and it's just
Oh yeah.
you technically have 3 planets you go on.
Holy shit.
You got the forest planet, then you go to another planet, and then the 2 planets merge.
Oh my god.
It's just so much Gilgamesh is, and of course everyone who's a Gilgamesh fan knows Gilgamesh first appeared in Final Fantasy V.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, the good old Gilgamesh.
Yeah.
Yep, that was Gilgamesh's first appearance in Final Fantasy, was Final Fantasy V, and it's also theoretically explains why he gets to appear in other Final Fantasies. It's the void. But,
yeah, no, I gotta check this out. But, yeah, quickly, actually, just to jump back, so, like, what would you consider, actually, this is probably a loaded question, what would you consider the best RPG? I know, like, asking you or me that question is like, well, okay, which one of your children...
Like, all time, or, like, maybe a Pacific System? A Pacific System would be a lot easier than, like, all time.
Narrow it down, okay, how about Super Nintendo?
Super Nintendo? Oh, boy. That's still a bit tricky, because that's some of the best RPGs. I think I'd have to give it to Lufia 2. Lufia 2, I really liked the it's definitely one of my favorites still. I mean, the outside of combat, you have a very Zelda-ish like gameplay that helps keep the gameplay fresh and that, puzzles and that, dungeons and that. It's not just running around and grinding. And yet, have classical RPG mechanics.
Yeah, like... Really? Okay, yeah, the first Lufia, I don't... Yeah,
I know you did a review on the Force Lufia. Yeah, the Force Lufia is very generic. It's a huge leap in difference between 1 and 2. I mean, 2 does have some flaws, especially in the English version.
You know what, yeah, I think it's time to play that one soon. I think I have a little free time and start playing Lufia 2. I think I might start playing that. I think you've inspired me, because there's a lot of good things, but...
It is definitely one. I mean, see, like, Final Fantasy IV I hold very dear, because it was the first Final Fantasy I ever played, but I really, while I can say it is one of my favorite Final Fantasies, it's really tough to say that it's the best or better. I mean, mechanically and that, I mean, there's a lot of good things, but then there's a lot of Final Fantasies that I just feel like that did a lot better, too. I mean, it holds a special place, but Lufia 2, I don't know, I just think, I don't know why a lot of developers don't do this whole kind of outside of combat, it's all very Legend of Zelda, and, like, I don't get why, I mean, there's so few RPGs that do that. It's such an interesting way to keep the gameplay from getting very monotonous, having puzzles and shit to solve.
Random battle. Yeah, no, for sure. I think so too. Yeah, I'm pretty surprised at your choice. Actually, I didn't know that would be your favorite.
I'd say it really withheld a lot of. It's okay.
Yeah. I was gonna go with Chrono Trigger. I'm gonna be all generic here, but Chrono Trigger it's too good. It's my favorite game, probably. One of my favorite games.
It's a good one. It's a good one. I never got to play it when I was a I never got... Well, then again, you know, Lufia 2 I got to play as a child, and I didn't get to play Chrono Trigger as a child. I got to play Chrono Trigger on the PS1.
It's always a big... Yeah, that's a big part of it, I think, too.
Plus, I also played it backwards, because I played Chrono Cross first, and then I played Chrono Trigger, so...
Oh, you did... Oh, let's not talk about Chrono Cross. That's a touchy subject.
Oh, yeah, I know, it's a touchy subject to talk about.
I want to love that game so much, but it won't let me love it.
I do like it, and I think I don't have as much of a problem, because I got to play it first, instead of reverse, and even worse, playing the first one as a child.
With the expectations, of Chrono Trigger. Yeah, I never thought of that.
See, I really like Cross in its story. Like, I really like the different shift to a very dark, moody, this is what happens when you fuck with time kind of thing. Versus really chewy anime. We're going to save the day and time travel with lots of fucking things.
True, yeah, you know what.
Like, this is... You thought you just pop in there, time, fucking kill aliens, and everything's happy-dappy, and the universe is peace? No, motherfuckers, this is what happens!